Welcome back, everybody, to the Denver Broncos Madden 25 franchise rebuild. We enter in Week 3 against the Chiefs, coming in with a 1-1 record, while the Chiefs have won their first 2 games. Our first game we won against the Commanders and Jaden Daniels by 3 points, but in the last episode, we had a very heartbreaking loss. A call as time expired gave an untimed down to LA, and they would score a field goal to walk the game off and beat us 27-24. And so far through 2 weeks, we have scored and allowed the exact same number of points, leading us to the 21st offensive points per game and the 14th opponent points per game through these first 2 games. Bo Nix has played pretty well for us, has had only 1 turnover in the first 2 weeks, only 2 touchdown throws, but he has thrown about a 78% completion percentage, which is very impressive compared to last year, and his rating is pretty solid as well. But the ground game is struggling. We have barely ran the ball because we were down for almost the entire game against the Chargers, not so much against the Commanders. But we have thrown the ball a lot, so we are relying on Bo Nix to keep those turnovers under wraps and to keep that really efficient throwing going. But now we got 2 games in 3 weeks against KC, and first we're going to try and get a big contract done with Pat Surtain. Last episode we saw that we have $143 million in cap room and plenty of starter caliber players to bring back on new contracts, but I think probably half or more of these guys are gonna become free agents because I think we're due for some more roster turnover once again. But one guy that we have to keep around, really 2 guys that we got to keep around, are Pat Surtain and Greg Dulcich. Both guys have been big playmakers on both sides of the ball. Pat Surtain, obviously the best player on the roster, and Dulcich, to this point, has been our top receiving target for Bo Nix through 2 weeks. He's got superstar dev. But Surtain is due for a massive extension here, and he does have interest. But I'm going to extend this contract offer to probably 7 years. This way he is a couple years into his 30s by the time this deal is up, and this would give us just a better cap hit, because I would have to imagine that the contracts for corners are probably going to go up these next couple of years because of the cap inflation. So we're going to definitely increase the offer a little bit to kind of sweeten this deal. And what does Surtain say? He accepts the 7-year offer, a massive contract, and that is a big extension. And our best player is now under wraps for 7 more seasons. What about Greg Dulcich? A 3-year deal is what he's kind of looking for. He does not have the best interests, but if we can keep him here for a couple of years as the starting tight end, I would kind of prefer that over Adam Troutman. And he will accept the 3-year deal. So 2 of our biggest, most important players on offense and defense brought in for several more seasons. Now, Courtland Sutton's next up, but he has no interest at all. We'll try and find a deal for him, but he is approaching 30 years old. I have to think about that offer because so far he's not really been too involved on the offense. It's been mostly Dulcich, Franklin, and Marvin Mims. In total, it was a 7-year, $158 million contract for Surtain and a 3-year, $25 million deal for Greg Dulcich. The Bills, meanwhile, re-signed Greg Rousseau to a big 3-year deal. They bring back James Cook, their star running back, and they brought back their center, Connor McGovern. The Bengals have re-signed Jamar Chase to a 4-year deal, $120 million in total. They brought back Trey Hendrickson, one of their top pass rushers. So plenty of teams bringing back star players. Joey Bosa returns to the Chargers after their Week 2 victory over us. Micah Parsons re-signed on a 4-year deal. We're just below $110 million. Deron Bland back in Dallas too. So a lot of star players re-signing early in the year. Brock Purdy a 6-year, $307 million deal. They also bring back George Kittle. I mean, this was the week to bring back the guys early on. Garrett Wilson resigns, J.C. Horn resigns. Yeah, a lot of teams keeping their players around for multiple years going forward. It's been a struggle early on for rookie tailback Greg Cooks, only 2.6 average yards per carry. How can we improve him with the skill points? I think he could actually use some more elusiveness in terms of spin moves and juke moves, because spin was actually pretty low. That would probably help him in simming, I would have to imagine, but I definitely want to get a good balance of power and elusiveness for him, so we're going to start with elusive, but I will start going power in a couple of weeks once he earns some more points. He and Kamara have kind of split carries so far, and we do get +2 spin move here, which is great. We've got week 3 against the Chiefs, who are 2-0. They are coming off their 3rd or 4th championship title. And through one, we're tied 7-7. Broncos looking to get back in the win column after that brutal loss against the Chargers. Chiefs trying to stay undefeated, and they lead at halftime 17-13. We're going to watch the full Week 5 matchup against these two teams, but these next 3 weeks, we are facing the two teams that made it to the Super Bowl last season. And the Chiefs lead by 7, 4th quarter. Broncos in the red zone, trying to tie this game up at 20 points apiece. But we're going to get stalled here 13 yards out thanks to a sack. And we go for it on 4th down, and he's sacked again. And the Broncos fail to put points on the board. The Chiefs have it and can make it a 2-score game late in this one, and they are driving all the way down the field through the air only. Mahomes to Worthy for a 23-yard score, and it's not looking great for the Broncos. Oh, Courtland Sutton, 41-yard score. It's back to a 7-point game. Let's watch the rest. Can our defense get a stop and give the offense a chance to either tie the game up or perhaps take the lead on a 2-point conversion? Let's find out and watch the last 5.5 and change here at Arrowhead Stadium. Chiefs have it at their 30-yard line on their next drive, leading by 7. Here's Pacheco up the middle. He's got first down yardage. Good throw by Mahomes, but it goes incomplete for Travis Kelce. Had Drew Sanders in coverage after he missed all of last year with an injury. That brings up 2nd down and 10. Man in motion for the Chiefs. They'll keep it in the air. Mahomes underneath, and they'll get 8 yards. We've actually picked off Mahomes twice in this game, but he's got nearly 400 passing yards as Kelce will move the sticks. And if they score on this drive at all, then it's probably out of reach for Denver. At least we seem pretty competitive, though, against the reigning champions, as Mahomes on the read option gets taken out by Jamil Barber, the rookie free safety who has been very good in these first couple of games. Same goes for the rookie corner Luke Blackstock, who had his first pick against LA last episode. 2nd and 7, and wide open. It's Kelce for another first down, and they are all the way in field goal range now. Mahomes fakes the give, looks downfield. It's batted away by Luke Blackstock. That does stop the clock for Denver. Mahomes looking right, picked off. It's Pat Surtain coming off a huge extension, and he makes a huge play late in the 4th quarter. And now the offense will have a chance to either force overtime or win the game before the clock expires. That is Surtain's first pick of the season. Pass intended for Xavier Worthy. Just a bad throw by Mahomes, and Surtain makes no mistake. Can Bo Nix lead us down the field? We have had 3 turnovers in this game apparently, or I guess no, 1 because we've picked off Mahomes twice. Nix looking right side. That one's caught. He does have 1 INT this game, but a chance to win it right here. From the 45. Over the seam and caught by Dulcich, also coming off a 3-year extension. And we are inside the KC 30. Out of the warning, it's 1st and 10. 3-man rush from Kansas City as Kamara's dropped for a loss of 2. Here's Bo Nix. Complete to Courtland Sutton in traffic. 7-yard gain. It's 4-down territory no matter what. And we're going empty here on 3rd down. Nix has time, and he's got a man wide open. It's Dulcich for a game-tying score. The PAT can tie it. A 2-point conversion puts Denver in front. Wide open, a bust-in coverage from Kansas City. Safety gets there way too late. And the Broncos score off the Pat Surtain INT. Both guys that just got huge contracts make big plays late against their biggest division rival. We will take the point after with Will Lutz. The kick is good. With 93 seconds left, we are all tied at 27 apiece. What a way to get back in this game. Here's the return from the 6-yard line up to the 30. And that is where Mahomes will have a chance to potentially put the Chiefs back on top. We have seen these kinds of drives time and time again throughout his career. It's picked. Abrams strained the other way. Gone. Broncos lead late. Back-to-back picks off Mahomes. He's got 4 total in this one. The defense came in with 4 INTs through 2 weeks. We have doubled that against the Chiefs alone. And a pick 6 by the 2nd-year corner has Denver on top. Do you believe this? Will Lutz comes out, and all of a sudden, Denver leads 34-27. Mahomes will have one more chance, but now he's got to time the game with a touchdown. He takes off on 1st and 10 and gets across the 40 for a 1st down. They're going to go no huddle here. They have 2 timeouts left. They're just coming off their first timeout being used, and on the slant, it's caught for a 1st down. Back to throw, 4-man rush from Denver on the outside. It's Pacheco for a gain of 5. Throwing and caught inside the 30-yard line. That's Xavier Worthy, who's got at least 1 touchdown so far in this one. Chiefs driving. Quick throw, batted away. No, it's caught. Through the diving hands of Pat Surtain. But Worthy makes the grab. That will stop the clock. From the 23, Mahomes time to throw. Incomplete for Kelsey in the end zone. 2 defenders there. Now it's 3rd and 5. Blitz coming. It's dumped and caught. Chiefs use their final timeouts. 14 yards from the goal line. 28 seconds left in regulation. Can our defense get one more stop to close it out? Mahomes scanning. Trying to escape the pocket, but he's going down. It's Baron Browning. And time expires. The game is over. What a 4th quarter by the defense. Several mistakes by Patrick Mahomes. And Denver is back in the win column with a huge upset victory. The Chiefs pick up their first loss of the year, and Denver moves to 2-1 on the season. Despite allowing over 500 offensive yards, the defense forces turnovers which turn into points on multiple occasions. Once again, Bo Nix had a really good day, probably his best performance of the year to this point, with 3 touchdowns, 1 INT, and once again, very efficient passing. Actually had more yards per attempt than Mahomes did, surprisingly, and those picks really cost Mahomes in this game. On the ground, we once again barely run the ball. Greg Cook's not off to a great start. He actually had a worse average here than his first 2 games, and Kamara barely saw the rock in this one. But through the air, KC, a lot of yards, obviously, but could not keep the ball out of the hands of our secondary. Marvin Mims, the leading receiver for Denver here in this one, but Dulcich not too far behind. I think it's been a pretty good balance of Mims, Dulcich, Franklin, and Courtland Sutton. Nobody's really been avoided through the air through the first couple of weeks. But how about this defense, man? We had 2 picks here in this one from Surtain coming off the big contract. Then we got a pick from Luke Blackstock and Chris Abrams-Drain with a pick 6 to win the game. That was the game-winning play. And we upset the Chiefs in a big defensive effort. And the offense had a pretty good touchdown drive as well to tie the game up. And now we have games against Dallas in Week 4, then the rematch at home in Denver in Week 5 against the Chiefs. And Surtain, after that 2-pick performance, wins AFC Defensive Player of the Week. That is great to see, because I think last year he only had 1 INT total. He got 2 in 1 game off of the best quarterback in football. And now we have a couple of breakout chances. And this, I believe, is for Chris Abrams-Drain. Talking in the office to head coach Daniel Levy. And it is for Chris Abrams-Drain. He's trying to put everybody on notice and become one of the best defensive backs in the league. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but game day challenge against Dallas. Got 1 tackle for loss, a forced fumble, or sack for a dev trade upgrade. That'll be kind of tough, I think, for a corner for this defense to be getting a sack or a fumble, but he could get a tackle for loss, maybe. We'll just have to see. We also have a linebacker breakout on this defense as well, so things are looking up if we can put together a good game against the Cowboys. Baron Browning coming off the game-winning sack against the Chiefs after a breakout year last year, hoping to break out once again in year 2 of this franchise. And he has superstar developments because of his performance. Huge for this defense, but now he could go up even further if he gets 7 or more tackles and 1 or more tackles for loss. I mean, that's doable for a guy like him who's on this defensive front for most of the game. We'll just have to see what happens. The Denver Broncos are 3-1, a huge victory against the Dallas Cowboys, 28-30. Every game has been within 1 score. That is a really strong start to our season. Dak Prescott not picked off in this game. He goes 18 for 22, but Bo Nix played very well once again, over 300 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT, 21 for 26. Very high YPA for both quarterbacks in this one. Greg Cooks gets the bulk of the carries, but Kamara has still been way better on the ground. In terms of the average, he scores twice. Elliott and Prescott score once on the ground each, but we hold Elliott to only 2.5 per carry. Very good job by this defensive line. Receiving-wise, a breakout game for the first time this year for Courtland Sutton. After last year, he was probably our best target by a long shot. 126, 2 touchdowns, a 61-yard touchdown, or at least a 61-yard reception here in this game. Lamb goes for 105, Dulcich for 90, Franklin 36. And on defense, we did not have a pick. We threw into Marquise Bell, and Blackstock had 9 tackles. Looks like Browning had 7 tackles, but no tackles for loss. And I guess sacks don't count as a tackle for loss, so he might not break out to X Factor or get whatever was going to be the reward for the breakouts. We'll just have to go and find out. And Abram Strand was looking for tackles for loss as well, and he gets 1. Is that enough? I think it is. Let's go find out. Starting with Abrams Drain. Another strong game. Looks like he does break out here. The sky is the limit, and he is now a star dev player. That is absolutely huge for this defense. And it looks like Baron Browning's not going to break it despite getting 1.5 sacks and 7 tackles. I wish it was sacks and not tackles for loss. I feel like sacks, should count as that, but you know what? I can't really complain. He still gets 4,500 XP after the dev upgrade last week. That's absolutely huge. And we get +5 morale for all defensive players. Coming off that game, upgrade / skill point for Baron Brown. Let's go with more power moves. Make that just kind of his biggest attribute on the defensive side of the ball. +2 there with tackling and play rec and awareness. And at just 26 years old, superstar dev, I think he's going to progress very well here in our second season with the Broncos. We got a point for Bo Nix as well. And I think for him, I want to load up on deep accuracy here. Make him a more dynamic, big play guy. So we're going to go with strong arm and see if that will help us out in that category. And it does. I don't know why his hair looks so staticky, but Dulcich due for a skill point here. And I would like to improve the route running especially, but you can't really target that necessarily for tight ends. Unless you go, I guess, with vertical threat. So I would definitely just use it on that. And hopefully we get some good upgrades here. Plus the medium routes. That's what I'm looking for right there. That's perfect. And how about Troy Franklin so far this year? He's been involved in 3 out of 4 weeks so far this season. I'm going to go with release here and try and target that. So we're going to look at either deep threat or slot or physical. I think I'll do physical for him. Make him better at catching the ball in traffic. We get a lot of upgrades here, +1 for a lot of different areas. That's very nice. But now it is time for the rematch. A Monday night primetime matchup here against the visiting Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Rain. Looking for a revenge win after a brutal Week 3 loss just a couple of games ago. We're going to sim the first quarter and watch the rest of it afterwards. Couple of punts back and forth as the Broncos lead 6-0. And it is 3rd and 3 for the Chiefs from their 37-yard line to open the second quarter. Kelsey in motion here. Mahomes will hand it off, and Pacheco never had a chance. Denver starts from their 20-yard line. Here's Alvin Kamara running right, and he's dropped for a loss of 1. We have seen this run game really struggle through these first 4 weeks. It's been a passing game behind Bo Nix that has been the kind of lifeblood of the offense. He's currently 2nd in the league total in passing yards, only behind Patrick Mahomes. Broncos need 8 on 3rd down. Nix trying to extend the play, but he's dropped for a sack by Thompson. And Denver goes 3 and out. It's 1st and 10 for the Chiefs, just shy of their 40-yard line coming off the Denver punts. Here's Pacheco, tackle made by Barber. Another give, Pacheco with some patient running, but Singleton's there for the tackle, and it's 3rd down. And the gun, Mahomes over the middle and caught for a 1st down. That is Rashee Rice. We've already picked off Mahomes once in this game. That came back in the 1st quarter. That makes it 5 on the year off of Mahomes. From the 50 now, quick hitter out to Kelsey. He's got 6 yards. The fake to Pacheco. Mahomes throws it away, but he had a man open. Just could not get it to him, and that sets up 3rd and 4, just outside of field goal range for Harrison Butker. Can our defense keep the shutout going here? Mahomes with time, and it's caught by Hollywood Brown. Excuse me, Xavier Worthy. More play action over the middle and caught for a touchdown. It's Rashee Rice. Right over the heart of the field. We get beat deep. And that is what Mahomes can do to you, man. A great throw, splitting our safeties. Just a late reaction by Barber. And the Chiefs, with a PAT, can jump in front for the first time here, coming off their first score of the night. Can the offense respond here? Starting from the 41, pressure coming. It's a duck and broken up in the secondary. Nix underneath and caught. Brings up 3rd and 2, and Kamara's not going to get there. Tackled a yard shy. And after a great starting field position, the Broncos go 3 and out on back-to-back drives. We just had a 14-yard net punt. Come on, man. That was horrible. 1st and 10, Kansas City. And time to throw. This is caught by Hollywood Brown. 9.5. 2nd and short. Pressure coming, but Holmes gets rid of it. That's Worthy for a 1st down. Mahomes will throw it. 4-man rush out to Kelsey. He picks up 6. Mahomes hits his target in stride. It's Worthy, but the ball comes out. It's recovered by the Broncos. I think he may have been down by contact, though. Not sure, but the defense is celebrating like it's going to be their ball. Baron Browning recovers that fumble. You can't tell from that angle if he was down or not. It's going to come to a booth review, and most likely thinking his knee was down. Yeah, his knee's down before that ball comes out. It's going to be Chiefs possession. So out of the warning, it's 1st and 10 for the Chiefs instead of the Broncos. 5-man rush and caught by Kelsey. He's off to the races for a touchdown. We tried to undercut that pass and go for the pick, but the pass got through to his tight end instead, and he takes it all the way for a score. That was Barber trying to make the big play, but he could not get himself in front of Travis Kelsey, and the Chiefs lead by 8 points with a PAT pending. All right. Just under 2 to go. Pass is caught in traffic. Broncos are going to go quick here with 3 timeouts left and 90 seconds to play. Caught by Franklin for a 1st down. Got some lag right here, folks. I apologize. This one's caught by Mims. That's going to be another big first down all the way inside the Chiefs' 30-yard line. From the 27, quick throw, caught, gain of 10 for Courtland Sutton. Denver offense moving down the field. We're going to use our first timeout. Four-man rush from the Chiefs, outside and caught. Inside the 5 goes Troy Franklin. Hooks the tailback, will keep it in the air. Nix is taken down by Chris Jones. The 3rd sack on Bo Nix in this first half. Got to go faster, guys. Instead, we use the timeout. We have 1 left as Nix is under pressure again, and he somehow gets that ball away. But back-to-back pressures by Chris Jones has made it 3rd and goal, 12 yards away from the end zone. Nix looking and wide open. It's caught! Courtland Sutton with the touchdown. A complete bust in coverage. He's all alone back there. And Nix gets it to him for the touchdown. The offense should go for 2 here, but we're not going to. It would have timed the game. Instead, it's going to be a Will Lutz PAT attempt to bring it back within 1. Is there too much time for Mahomes, though? 24 seconds on the clock, and they're going to get a huge gain. It's Rashee Rice off to the races and gone on the first play from scrimmage. An immediate response from the Chiefs. The best offense in football does it again. Right over the middle. I think the same defensive call that we allowed a touchdown last time to Rashee Rice. Barber and Abram Strain back there on defense. Neither guy in position. And that completely wipes our last drive off the board. And that will take us to halftime. Not the defense I was expecting here against Mahomes after our last game, but he did tear us up back in week 3. We just kind of forced more turnovers than we are usually used to. And again, we are the final game being played on the week, as it looks like the Chargers lose against Dallas. So good thing for this division, at least for us, where we are at 3-1. And the Raiders also lose against the Dolphins 23-8. So both other AFC West teams have lost their Week 5 games. And now it's between us and the Chiefs. But our defense has to play better and not allow these big plays if we have a chance to win. And the offense needs to get more consistent and run the ball a whole lot better if you want any chance to really come back here in this game. The Chiefs will start with the ball here in this second half, leading by 8. Mahomes checks it down for Pacheco, gain of 7. We'll keep it in the air. Quick one to Hollywood Brown for a first down. Both teams this year have been very pass-heavy. Both quarterbacks, obviously, as I already mentioned, are top 2 in passing yards through the first 4 weeks. And it's been a lot of passing so far in this game as well, as Brown is hit down after a 9-yard reception. Second down, Mahomes outside. It's Rice, who's already over 130 yards on the day thanks to his 2 big touchdown catches. Now they're going 4 wide with Brown, Kelsey, Rice, and Worthy. A very explosive offense. Second down. They'll give it to Pacheco. Not a lot there. The run defense so far has been pretty impressive. Pass defense, not so much. That's been kind of the case for most of the year to this point. We have forced turnovers, but have not, forced a low number of passing yards. It's been the opposite case on the ground. as Rice is inside our 25-yard line. You've also had virtually no pressure on Mahomes in this game compared to Week 3. That was only like one pressure in that game total, and that was that big sack to essentially close the game out. That one's caught by Mahomes for 7 more yards, and so far it's been only one run. The rest of them passes on this opening drive of the quarter. Mahomes has completed pretty much every throw so far. Worthy in motion. 5-man rush. Nobody gets close, and wide open. It's Rice for his 3rd touchdown of the ball game. After a scoreless first quarter, the Chiefs have put up 4 offensive touchdowns in just 1 quarter and change. The offense has a lot of work left to do to get us back in this ball game here, but our defense has been pretty bad so far. It's a 5-yard gain for Greg Cooks, one of his best runs of the year to this point. He has not been very efficient on the ground, but he will stay in on 2nd and 5. Nix, quick throw to Dulcich across the 40. Nix finds his man open. It's Courtland Sutton across midfield into plus territory. I think I have fixed the lag for good at this point. I just had to restart my game and adjust some of the settings here. This is Dulcich on the catch. No turnover so far for Bo Nix. But now a player shaken up, and that's going to be Courtland Sutton. Not a good sign for the offense, because we are a pass-heavy team, and losing our number 1 wideout is definitely not a good thing. Here's Cooks, though, with a nice run inside the 30-yard line for a first down. From the 28, little screen setting up for Mims, but there's just nothing there. Pass rush coming, dumped underneath. That's Josh Reynolds coming in for the injured Courtland Sutton. We'll probably see him the rest of the way until Sutton returns, if he does return. But now a big 3rd down. Nix outside has a man. It's Reynolds. Hand off to Cooks. He breaks 1 tackle, but is met immediately by Nick Bolton. We get nothing out of it. Under 2 to go here in this 3rd quarter. You pretty much got to score a touchdown here. A field goal is not going to cut it. It'll still be a 2-score game. Nix outside the pocket. Just gets rid of it right before Chris Jones gets home for another sack. And now it's 3rd down and long. Nix has time. We just dump it off to Dulcich. I guess there was coverage downfield, and we're going to settle for a field goal. So we're pretty much counting on more stops and 2 touchdown drives to win this game here. In this game, Mahomes is 22 for 24 passing. He's got 1 INT, but only 1 other incompletion. And we have not gotten pressure. We have not played good man coverage. We're allowing throws underneath, to the middle, and down the field. It's been a dominant performance by 15. Here's Kelsey up the sideline. Huge gain inside the Broncos 30. You see what I'm talking about. Last play of the quarter. They'll fake it to Pacheco. Mahomes for the end zone. Picked off. It's Surtain again. What a play. Exactly what we needed to end the 3rd quarter. After all of that, the defense does come through. Broncos take over from the 20. Good protection for Nix, but he hangs on too long and is going down for a Thompson sack. After the 6-yard loss, we dump it off to Franklin and get 3 yards back. Only 2 third-down conversions so far in this game. Looking for a big one here on 3rd and long. Pressure coming. Caught by Dulcich. But Denver's going to punt. So no damage done off the INT. We're looking for at least one more stop here to get the ball back in the hands of the offense, but it can't really count on a lot of stops when Mahomes is playing like this. 2nd and 5 for the Chiefs from their 34. Mahomes will pass. Underneath, he's got a man open for first down yardage. Quick throw underneath and caught. We just cannot force incompletions right now. It's either INTs or bust, apparently, in this game. Pacheco is the back on 2nd and 6. He will get the carry, but has nothing. Can our defense get off the field? We cannot. Here's Hollywood Brown turning up fields. He beats Luke Blackstock in coverage that time. It's been Surtain mostly on Brown in this game. That time he beats the rookie. And the Chiefs are once again driving into Denver territory, trying to put this game out of reach. That's caught by Rice. 10 grabs for over 170 yards. A huge day for the star receiver. Under 6 to play now here at Mile High. Pacheco breaks a tackle and picks up 4. The pass is caught in stride by Rice. Barber in coverage that time. Secondary really struggling here on these short and medium routes. And they're 16 yards away from Payton. Clean pockets. Incomplete. 2nd down and 10. Mahomes has a man. It's Rice again. We just cannot stop this guy. He is tearing us up. Mahomes through the air. Caught for a touchdown by Hollywood Brown. This game is over. The Chiefs will get one back just like last season. And we're going to fall to 3-2. We get completely diced up here in the Week 5 rematch, and the Chiefs put up 42 points. We only scored 23, and they get one back to even up the season series. We'll see what happens the rest of the way, but not a good loss to take here at home after a couple of nice wins in a row. At this point, I think it's safe to say that the offense is pretty one-dimensional. If the passing game is not going to be very consistent like it was this game for Mahomes, then we're asking a lot of our defense, and they're not going to play well every week. I mean, in this game, 2 picks off Mahomes, but we could not really do any damage off of those picks. And he throws for 5 touchdowns, over 400 yards for the 2nd time against us this year. But this time goes 33 for 37 passing. Bo Nix, no turnovers here for the first time this season. He was impressive, but again, the passing game wasn't as efficient as you are kind of hoping it to be. A couple of 3-and-outs really cost us here in this game. And until the ground game improves, I doubt we're going to hand the ball off a lot, especially if we're losing for the majority of these games. 3 touchdowns, a $185 for Rashee Rice. He destroys us through the air. And our defense probably had their worst game of the entire season to this point. That will leave us at 3-2 and 2nd place in the conference, behind the Chiefs, who moved to 4-1 with the win. And the Raiders and Chargers both off to 1-4 starts here in year 2. They're definitely not going to be competitive here in this division. So if we can win those games against those teams, we've already lost one against LA, then we should have a good chance to potentially compete for the AFC West title. But we'll see if the Chiefs will lose any more games this year after a very impressive, I think it was 13-4 or 14-3 record last year, and obviously a title victory as well. But now we got to face the Giants in Week 6, who are also 3-2 with a top 6 pass defense. As after the first couple of weeks, we were actually pretty solid. We have dropped to dead last in offensive, or in terms of opponent passing yards, at over 308 yards allowed per game. Defense definitely has taken a step back after these last couple of games. Offense, though, has been good again when the passing game is playing well. In mock draft 1, you got another tackle going first overall, just like last year. This time it's Nick Banks out of Stanford, a pass protector. After him, you've got an edge rusher and Pat Gardner out of the U. Max Good from Buffalo on the edge. Tim Carter, another edge rusher. A free safety, top 5. Then a couple more edge rushers in Walden, Moorhead, and Marvin Lowry. And then our pick right now sits at 22. And we are mocked to go after a tackle. I think, again, that's going to be probably our focus in the first round or two. And then we'll also definitely target probably a defensive lineman, because right now that's probably the weakest part of this defense. We have not had much pressure outside of Baron Browning. You got to have more than one good pass rusher on your team to get effective pressure throughout a full game. So we're going to end the episode right here, folks. Pretty solid start to our year. Definitely some things to look at fixing, but definitely a good start here. I can't complain. So that's going to be it here in this one, guys. I will see y'all next time. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, subscribe, and leave your feedback down below. And I'll see y'all next time. Have a great day.